Hi, everyone, and welcome to my channel. I am Coach Sherry. And listen, I was setting up this live and I was kind of tossed between should I go vertical or horizontal in terms of the way that, my camera is situated. And I know that YouTube is saying that if you do the vertical that you'll get more views on your lives and such, and that it'll just be easier for people to look at on their telephones. But also, I think it shows up on the shorts feed. So I've done this before, but I just can't see. It's such a small, it feels like it's such a small box, such a small window, and my whole entire face is in the screen. But welcome to my channel. I am Coach Sherry, and this is Real Talk with Coach Sherry. This is live, and it's also my podcast here on YouTube. And tonight we're going to do Friday Night Chat, Fireside Chat. So imagine being in front of your fire pit in your backyard, on your deck, or even in your by your fireplace in your living room or even your bedroom, and you're just sitting down with a bunch of friends and you're just chatting it up, talking about the week's end and how did the week go and what's going on, what plans do you have for the weekend. This is going to be a 3-day weekend, Labor Day weekend, and I know many people are going to be off on Monday. A lot of people look at it as a chance to go to the beach one last time before the fall comes around. I am kind of on the fence on if I'm going to go to the beach or just kind of relax at home. I feel like I need to relax, but I would love to relax by the beach, on the beach, ocean side, but I need to be at Destin if I am. Destin, Florida is the most beautiful beach in the United States. And some even say in different parts of the world, it's like rated really, really high. And I just really feel like I need to be by the beach. But I hope everyone is doing well. Listen, a lot of different and new and interesting content has been popping up on my YouTube wall. And I just wanted to talk about it with you and see if that's happening to you too. If you are a content creator or just a viewer, what type of things are popping up for you here lately? I know for me, there's all these videos about, how to grow your channel if, with your first 500 viewers or your first 500 subscribers, grow it engaging with your audience. And I'm like, wow, what is YouTube telling me? Why are they suggesting these videos? I don't really look them up, but they're coming about. And there was one yesterday, I think it was yesterday, that came on my feed, and it was about going live for 24 hours. And it's not about doing one of those live streams that, you may just show a wall in your house or some flashing lights and you have music or water playing. No, they were talking about really going live for 24 hours. And so that would entail, basically filming their day to day, how they film, back scenes of things, the back office of what they do. And it was two guys. So they were going to take turns filming themselves. I kind of think it might jump off this weekend. If not this weekend, definitely a weekend coming up soon. And I was like, man, I wish I could hang and do a 24-hour live stream. And I know I probably can't. So one of the things that I'm looking forward to doing is a variation or, my own version of a 24-hour live. And that will be going live throughout the day, just picking one day. And maybe every other hour, every 2 hours, just going live and just to see, I'm just curious to see, what that will do. Listen, I enjoy YouTube. I really do. I love being able to share information. I'm only a few subscribers away, or not as subscribers because I'm good with that, but I'm only a few hours away from 3,000. And that's what I'm really excited about because I can't wait to be able to have a group. You know how you can have memberships? because in my memberships, I'm going to do a lot of great deep dive group coaching sessions. People think that I'm so generous with the information that I give now, but I have even so much more content to share, and it really would work best in a group setting where I can also provide worksheets and, assignments, and so people can truly see their growth. And so I'm excited for that. So that's really what I'm, waiting for to do here on YouTube. I already do that outside of YouTube, but because YouTube is so international and many of my viewers are all over the world, and I'm so grateful for them, I definitely would like to see them in some of my sessions that I have now. I do have people all over the US, but I would love to have them all over the country, the world rather. So you may be wondering, especially if this is your first time at this channel, well, what is Coach Sherry about? What's Real Talk with Coach Sherry? What's that all about? Well, what this channel is about is it's workforce development, career readiness, entrepreneurship, real life, real issues, and real talk. And workforce development is, really about building who you are. If you have a business, you may have employees that you want to build up. Is building yourself, getting you prepared. Career readiness is when you are on that journey to be in that career of your dreams. So many people are doing what they had to do and don't know how they can do what they want to do and make it their purpose in their career. And then entrepreneurship. I always believe everyone should have multiple streams of income, and being an entrepreneur is something that just runs through my veins. I was born into a brick and mortar business, family owned business, and it's just something that I truly believe. And I always tell people, even if you have that career that you love, it's important to have that other stream. I'm going to a lot of retirement parties here lately, and people look forward to when they can retire, and they've been working in their business, the company, or in that position for over 20 years, 25, 30, even in some cases 40 years, and they look forward to retiring. But when those days come closer and closer to when it's going to be your last day, people get very anxious, and they get nervous because they don't know what they're going to do. This is something that they had always hoped for. They always felt like it was so far away, but here it is today. And what do you do next? But if you had another stream of income, you wouldn't even have to worry about that because you already have something in place. I see conscious business services and opportunities is in the building. Hello, how are you? It's so great to see you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate your support. And listen, as you all come in, as you can see, I love StreamYard because you're able to pull up the people that are in your chat and pull their information up. Please capture the people that come through because they are wonderful. Thank you for being here. Yes, real life solutions in detail. That's good. Absolutely. And I see Lisa J. Stocks is in the building too. Welcome in. Welcome in. Glad to see all of you. But yeah, I have been going to quite a few retirement parties, and it's interesting because I know that a lot of people that I even went to college with, especially if they went into education or social work right after we graduated, are probably in the process of getting ready to retire too. And yeah, being retired at 55 sounds amazing, and it is. I was retired at 24, 25 actually. But it's but it's a whole nother story, because the beat goes on. I don't think you ever retire, especially if you are able to do what you love and do it well. And so I guess I'll say I retired traditionally at a young age. But most people that are in their 50s, 60s, 70s, even that are retiring are really, they're they're very scared inside. They don't know what their next step will be. They have their retirement funds. They're very pleased with the amount that they have been able to stack up either in their 401k, through their own personal investments and savings, and they know what they're going to get on a monthly basis. But you know, a lot of things are very fickle. The cost of things increase all the time. The money that you thought that would be sufficient may not be. And just to have that extra stream to keep yourself busy. I know it was interesting for me, I worked from home for many, many years, but for some reason working from home during COVID hit different. I don't know if it's because my children were young adults and I wasn't running behind them doing things as well as working in the home, but whatever it was, my body was not pleased. My body actually started to atrophy. I felt myself getting stiff. My shoulders were starting to hurt. My back. I would have to always stretch and tell myself left foot, right foot. And I was like, yo, I have to get out of here. And so as soon as, and it really wasn't clear, I had some apprentices out there in the streets, and I said, you know what, as long as my apprentices are out, I'm going to be in my office. And so when I went back to the office, I just felt more alive. I felt like, okay, I'm not only getting up, I was getting up anyway and going and, doing things, whatever in my home office, but getting up and getting out is it hits different. You get ready differently. And I think that helped me so much. So for people who are like 55, 60, 65, 70, and they're retiring, but they're used to, being around their colleagues, communicating with people in person, or even if it's just on the phone or virtually, however they did it, they had that constant contact throughout the day. They're used to getting up, getting out, taking a walk. I mean, you can do all those things, yes, at home, but it seems more purposeful when you are up and out, with your career or with your business. And when they don't have that anymore, they don't have that to look forward to. Yeah, right after retirement, you may go to the beach for a month or a week or two or a month even. But what are you going to do after that? And then what? So start preparing now for your and then what? Don't wait until you need it. Just like I tell people, if you need to be upskilled and reskilled for these future opportunities, the time to prepare for them is now and not when you need it. So if you are on that bubble, if you are on that fence about to jump because you are about to retire, prepare for it now. And I'm hoping that when I say you are preparing, that you are at least 5 years out so that you can really have some solid things in place. It's more than just those investments. What else? What else do you have? It's more than that money that's coming in. What else do you have? And that's an important thing to hear. And I see Lisa is saying good evening to everyone. Thank you all for speaking. I appreciate it. Yes. And so, like I said, I'm seeing so many videos on, like don't give up on your channel. If you are a content creator, just keep going. Someone was even saying, put that bad video up, like I was trying to prepare for this live tonight. And I was like, okay, what I'm going to talk about. I wasn't sure, but I knew that I wanted to come on. How I'm going to configure this live. Am I going to be vertical or horizontal? All those things were coming up. I actually was getting ready to get ready for bed. It's been a long day. Our team went to an escape room today. Have you all, or have any of you ever done an escape room? That's where you go in and there's all different types of rooms you can select. And you do that first, like you do that, prior to going. But it's good. It's a good team building activity. And so our team did level 8, and y'all, we got out, we escaped. It was so cool. And it was challenging though. We had the room where we had unlimited clues, and I'm glad we did. But I don't really like to use the clues. We had to all agree to use the clue, and so I was just like, okay. But there were sometimes I was like, look, I think we can do this. We can figure this one out. But at the same time, we all definitely had a hand in escaping, and it was really interesting. The first room was beautiful. It was a Moroccan themed room. That first one was, and it was just clues everywhere. They were not in plain sight though. Some of them were, and you figure it out as you go. But if you have not done an escape room, if you have a team, your employees, If you work in a group and maybe the manager or something is saying, well, we need to do some type of team building, that's a great activity. If you have family coming into town and you have an escape room, if you have friends, you want to do a couple's night out, a girls' night out, a guy's night out, whatever, that is such a great activity. And it also shows you, on a business side, it shows you the strengths and the weaknesses and how your employees or even you handle challenges. And so that's a really good indicator for a lot of things for sure. And I see Adventures with Roxanne is in the building. Welcome in. Glad to see you. Hope you had a great week. Today is Friday. And listen, I can't even tell sometimes what day of the weeks are happening because I'm so busy and every single day is so, so different. And I love it. But, next thing I know, I look up and it's like, oh, shoot, it's Friday. I know next week is going to be even more challenging since we are kind of laying low for Monday for Labor Day. Yes, wasn't it good, Lisa? What level did you and your kids do it on? And did y'all escape? Because a lot of people don't tend to escape those escape rooms. Yes. Virtual reality. Oh, listen. Now, the Goodwill School of Construction here in Charlotte, they have the virtual reality. They use it a lot, actually, for simulations during COVID. When they really couldn't be as hands on, and that kind of virtual reality will have you hurting someone, yourself included. You feel like things are coming at you, you fall in, you duck in and dive in and everything. But I've tried it there, but I haven't tried it in terms of as a game or anything like that. But I know it's probably fun. It puts me in the mindset of Wii. Remember Wii, in the game Wii? I forget who was the maker of Wii, but Wii was like a simulated kind of game, but you didn't put a headpiece on. You just really watched it on your television. It was like a video game, but you were more active with it. And I remember I used to do tennis and boxing on there. When my kids would go to school, I would throw that in like part of my workout. And that thing would have you working out, but it was low key dangerous because I would find myself like inches from the TV, trying to get the ball or trying to knock somebody out. It was funny. But I know we still have the console for it, but we haven't played it in decades. It seems like probably, at least probably 10 years, I want to say. So, thank you for welcoming everyone in Conscious Business Services. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. So there was something my daughter and I were talking about just yesterday, actually, and I wanted to kind of expound on it a little bit more with all of you. And it was about becoming the best version of yourself. When was the last time you thought about what is the best version of yourself? And again, this is Friday Night Fireside Chat. And, if we were all around the fire or even around the table, if we were breaking bread together, just kind of chatting it up at the end of the week, this is a subject that I would bring up and really want to know and have everyone think about it. But when have you thought about becoming your best self? And are you your best self now? And who is your best self? What is that person? One thing, I was saying to my daughter is that, in life, you'll see people that on the outside, they look phenomenal. They look so polished and put together, and they look like they should be extremely confident. They're handsome, they're beautiful. They seem just like, oh, they just take over the room. But on the inside, they don't believe that for themselves. And when they don't believe that for themselves, ultimately and eventually that part of them will show up. And that's why I think, you really have to work on the inside first and let that shine on the outside before you work on the outside. So many people try to work on what they see, like, oh, if I just lose this weight, if I just have this procedure, if I just, and then when they get that, it's still not satisfying. And that's because they really haven't thought about who their best self is. Your best self is not who you see in the mirror. Your best self is who you feel on the inside. And, it's so interesting. I remember this woman, I had met her probably about 8 or 10 years ago. And she was like, "You don't look like you would have been married to an NFL player." And I was like, "What? Like, what does that look like?" And she was like, "I mean, you just don't look all glitz and glamour and all that." And that has never been me. That's not me on the inside. And that's not, I'm around the way. And I thought that was very interesting that she would say that, because I really was trying not to lose myself on purpose. Like, intentionally, I would do things like I would as Sherry, all throughout my life, but especially after getting married, because what I would see were women who were becoming other women and not becoming who they truly were meant to be. And so they got caught up and they lost themselves. They become that wife, that person, or whatever, but not themselves. And so in life, if you are in an organization, if you live in a part of town, or, you know, are expected to do certain things because of your career path or your business, remember who you are on the inside and let that person come out on the outside. Don't conform to what other people think you're supposed to be, supposed to look like, supposed to act like, supposed to sound like. Be who you truly are, because that's the best version of you. That's where you'll find the most comfort. That's where you'll find that you'll have the most confidence. And so many people forget that, and they try to conform, they try to mimic, and it's not natural, it's not authentic. And so they find themselves, at first it may work for a little bit, they can get away with it. That's like that imposter, your representative. You know how they say, when a person is first dating someone, or when you're dating someone, even for you, how, oh, you were dating their representative for like 3 months and then the real person shows up. So you want to be that real person day one, and it's absolutely possible. It is possible. And so all it is tapping into who you are. Like, what does that mean when you say who you are? Who are you? And let me tell you, in terms of women have the hardest time to say who they are. Women can talk about their kids and all the great things that their kids do, are doing, have been, where they're going, what school they're going to, the accomplishments. Men have a great time talking about the technology, their jobs, their careers, other sports, athletes, whatever. But when it comes to really talking about you and who you are, what your becoming is doing, what your purpose is, what is so challenging. It's so challenging. And some people look at it like, well, I don't want to sound conceited. When was the last time you heard the word conceited, right? They don't want to sound conceited, but it's not about conceit. It's just about being in tune with who you are. God created us all so different. It's so amazing how different we all can be. Even the most identical twins will have some different personality traits, because who they are on the inside doesn't look like who they are on the outside. Even though they look just like their sister or brother, they are different on the inside, and that's who they are, and that's who they become. They're individuals. We all are. And so, but we have to know who we are to be able to talk about it. And I'm not saying you go into the room, you enter every room, oh, I'm in the building. I'm in the building. I made it here. Even even though, listen, in the mornings when I go into places and I know, like, I'm real comfortable and everything, I'll say, like, I'm in the building. But it's just like a joyous thing. I just love doing that. But I'm not saying that you're going in and you telling people that you this, that, and the other. No, but you need to know that for yourself. And if you're ever asked, you can say that. So many people, it's amazing how they get derailed when you ask someone, oh, like, well, who are you? Or what have you been up to? Or something like that. they may start off a little bit with who they are, but then somehow it veers off into what their kids were doing, or something that's not really related to them. And I just always find that to be amazing. I see Nancy Perrin Ministries is in the building. Welcome in. How are you? It's been a while. How are things going for you? I hope you're doing well. Yes, we should do that. We should do a self-discovery workshop for women. Yeah. And actually, I've done that in the past. And that is, again, something, once I get a membership, I definitely will be doing more of, just to do like deep dive, very customized and specific for each of those women and men. A lot of men need to just rediscover who they are too. So it's not even about a gender. I just know that, oftentimes, first of all, women will seek out coaching in that way, sometimes a lot quicker than men. And with women, it's really about rediscovering who they are. Because as a mother, especially as mothers, so many mothers get so wrapped up in their kids. Listen, I know a lot of, professional athlete wives, doctors' wives, lawyers' wives that stayed home with their children. And, I'm looking at them like, okay, you can stay home, but at the same time, you can do something to find yourself, to be yourself. But they just really pour themselves into their children, into their spouses, keeping the home straight, managing the family things. And that is a full-time opportunity. It really is. I get it. But when their kids get to that age when they are more independent, and that happens around the end of middle school, high school, when their kids go off to college, or if they don't go off to college, they may be going overseas, they may join the military, they may get their own career and move out. When they start becoming even that much more independent, and then the mothers, and it's mostly the mothers, the fathers, they keep it moving, but the mothers will look around and be like, hold on, who am I? Wait, they don't need me anymore. What's going on? And so in lieu of that, all along, discover who you are. And trust me, when you know who you are and you move like that, you're actually giving your children even that much more of a gift as a parent, because you're showing them, you're being that example of how you can do it all. And it's not about, you know like it's not about not caring for the others around you, but you have to care for yourself a little bit more, And I know you've all heard this before. I've said this before, and I've heard this for years, when they talk about taking back your energy, and how when you're on a plane and the people for the safety in the beginning are saying, in case of an emergency, put on your face mask first, and then, you know, put on the face masks of the others around you. But in real life, outside of that plane, we always put the face masks of others around us first. And then we barely have enough energy to put our own face mask on. And if you don't have that energy, if you don't know who you are truly, then how are you going to help others become who they are supposed to be? How are you truly going to help groom them to discover themselves? When they see you walking in your authenticity, they will too. You know, people always ask me as if there's a secret sauce for how my 3 young adult children are doing so well and thriving. I'm so grateful. Oh my goodness, it's God. It's all God. I am so grateful that I am 3 out of 3, that they all are independent thinkers. They all, have their own strengths and know it. They all know what their opportunities are. They know their SWOT analysis. Basically, that's what I'm going through. Their weaknesses, their threats. They all know that. They know what they need to do to pivot if they have to. They're great human beings. And the only thing I can think of is because that's how my husband and I moved around them. And they never saw us copycatting or chasing after what others were chasing after. They always saw us be independent thinkers and doing the best that we could do and owning who we are and being authentic and genuine to who we are and towards them. So they don't know any other way because that's what they've seen. So that's one of the best things I think that a parent can do for their child is to be that example. And so many people will say, I want to raise my children different than how I was raised. I wasn't given these opportunities. And it's not about giving opportunities, it's about being exposed to opportunities. And when they see you seize the moment, they grow up understanding the importance of that, and they will start to seize the moment too. But if you are letting so many great things pass through your fingers, for whatever reason, you may have had imposter syndrome, you may have been sabotaging yourself, your representative just ain't representing anymore, whatever that is, and you're just not really seizing that moment as your true self. They see that too, and that is something that they can latch on to, and we don't want them to latch on to that, right? Or is it just me? It could be just me, I don't know. But we really don't want them to latch on to that. I remember one of my first apprentices had 3 young children, and shortly after starting the program, and he was doing his on the job training, doing well, no complaints, could do the work, was not a problem. But he just couldn't hold on. And he told me he couldn't adult. He came clean. Like, he was trying to use all these excuses. I was trying to provide him with all these solutions, like, okay, we got you over here. Here's a resource for that. You don't have to worry about this. But he just kept saying, no, that's not going to work. No, Miss Sherry, no. Like, and I'm thinking, like, what? This is like the thing that he would need, or that was this. And then finally, he just came clean and said, listen, I'm not ready to adult. And I said, what? But you have 3 babies at home. He's like, I mean, I'll figure it out. But just right now, I just can't do it. And y'all, I watched him walk out the room, and it was just like, wow, that's a man. And that's with intergenerational mobility. It's really about what is the man in the household doing. And I mean, his kids were very young. And so my thought was, what is his advice going to be to them when they come to those barriers, those roadblocks, those forks in the road in their life? What is he going to say to them to help them overcome that? Is his story going to be what he should have done, or is it going to be what he did? What's more powerful to a child to hear, I came through that. I had that kind of thing happen to me. I had to make a decision, and the decision I made had you in mind, had me in mind, had our whole family in mind. And no, it wasn't easy, but I kept with it. I trusted that process, and I did it, and I overcame. And because I did, I know you can too. Or is it, I had that opportunity, and I came to that roadblock just like you are right now. And I stopped. I dropped the ball. I couldn't handle it. I decided not to do it. I probably could have handled it, because when I look back on it, I wish I did. But yeah, I want you to handle it. How does that hit? And that's a story that a lot of us have heard. But we can absolutely change that narrative. And that means becoming who we know we are supposed to be. So if we know that we're supposed to win, if we know that we're supposed to be something great, if we know that we're supposed to have impact, if we know we're supposed to be that role model, then we need to be that and not drop the ball when it gets hard. You know, Listen, so many people think like, oh, once I get there, it'll be so much easier. It doesn't get easier. And that's why, when you're taking those baby steps to that main thing, each step, some of those steps are going to hurt. You might walk on some gravel, not have on shoes. You might walk on some hot sand. You may walk through water. It's always going to be something, but still keep walking. That's the thing. I'm going to jump down in here and see. You're doing great. I'm glad. I'm so glad to see you. That's so good. I see Keith Jenkins is in the building. Welcome and salute to you, sir. How are you doing? I know it's busy, going to be busy this weekend in Virginia Beach. That's where Keith is. Thank you all for being here. So I just wanted to come and just talk about that and the point of becoming. And I did write some notes down, about it. And so also, to become the best version of yourself. And I say this all the time, get your pen and paper ready so you can write this down. Remember, we're just doing this fire chat, Friday night fire chat and fire chat. Fireside chat. And sometimes you may have a pen and paper. When I'm around some of my good girlfriends, sometimes they'll just whip out a beautiful leather bound journal from their purse, or sometimes they'll just whip out their phones and just pull out the notes section and start writing things down. But if you want to become the best version of yourself, just consider these things. Let go of limiting beliefs. You want to identify and release untrue thoughts that hinder your potential. And again, y'all, you'll see some of the most polished people out here, but their inside voice, the things they say to themselves, are things that they were led to believe many, many years ago. And it might be because of things that their parents may have told them. And your parent, I'm telling you, if you are a parent, an auntie, uncle, grandparent, a neighbor, pour great things into your children. Always tell them that what they can do and that they can do anything they put their minds to. I remember growing up and how my mother and father used to always think I could do anything. My mother, especially, oh, my Sherry can do that. People with a headache, oh, my Sherry can do brain surgery. I mean, she really believed I could do so much. And, I believed it, but I only believed it because I believed my mother. My mother, listen, I learned long time ago, very early in life, to listen to her, that she knew what she was talking about. But my whole inside, my being didn't fully believe it. But because she poured that into me so much, I didn't really have my voice inside that maybe would have told me I can't, wasn't as loud as her "you can," because I never experienced the "I can't" side. I just didn't fully embrace it to become that, Um, I always did, everything I do is unbelievable. Like, listen, nothing normal ever happens in my life ever. It's always going to be it's always going to be something to it. And it's always a good thing, not a bad thing. It's just a little extra. And so, I didn't truly own it and believe it and realize that, yes, everything you set out to do and be is possible, until I cared for her when she lived with ALS. And I did things in caring for her that I never in my wildest dreams thought I would ever do, have to do, know how to do. And I did it. And I realized that was my last life lesson from her. And I was 40 years old when she passed. And so just think, all those years, I was like, I knew that people around me believed that I could do anything and that I was, becoming this great woman. But I didn't, in my heart of heart, my soul of soul, did not truly believe it and embrace it until the age of 40. So that's why I'm telling you, you have to do that deep dive with yourself and know who you're becoming. And I'm just so fortunate that the words that I would hear were all positive, but some people, all the words that they heard were all negative. And so even if they have a level of success, those words that they heard that were so negative for the majority of their life will still resonate with them. Because at some point, when you hear what you hear, you literally are saying it also to yourself in your head. It's like you almost repeat it to yourself. And So you need to surround yourself with people that are pouring great things into you. And you do the same, pour good words. And, those one of those things where if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all, so that the flow will be genuine. But think that if it's something bad coming up in you, even in your brain, immediately think the opposite. If you feel like I can't, say I can, I will, I am. you know if it says this is hard, oh, this is hard, no, this is easy, this is going to be so easy. Wow, it's once we get through this, yeah, it's a little challenging, just like with the escape room. I knew we was going to get out. Either way, we were going to get out. But it's like, okay, we're going to figure this out. We are not, this is too hard. No, it's, we're going to figure this out. So immediately think the opposite, but let it be in a positive manner. Okay. You don't want to hinder yourself with thoughts that are going to limit you. Also, you want to turn shoulds into musts. Prioritize actions that align with your values and goals. Listen, I was in a meeting and the person that was leading it was, and it was for an event coming up, and they kept saying, um, we might, what was it? I hope, um, I will try, we're going to try. And I'm like, what? Oh my goodness, hold on. It was making areas too gray for me. It's like you have to know what you know. So it's not like, oh, I should. It's I will, I must. It's not I will try, I will. That try word, that gives people so many outs. It gives people so many opportunities to drop out, to stop. It gives them that excuse like, well, I tried my best. Did you? Did you? Okay. Let me see. You enjoy your weekend too. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate you for coming through. Thank you. Oh, thank you, Nancy. Yeah. Um, and that's why, with my young adults, I mean, all their life, just the same things that was told to me, the same things were told to my husband. That's the things we poured into them. But because I know that even though someone may be pouring those things into you, you still may have that glimmer of self-doubt. And so I'm telling them my story, that's my testimony where, you know, I didn't truly believe it, but I need you to believe it because it is so true. And these are the moments that it was true for you. You know, pouring into them, but also showing them those examples of when it was true for them. Remember that time when this was really hard for you, but you did it. It was something that you accomplished. It was a goal that you set out and you did it. Remember that. Remember? What were your thoughts when you were going through that? How did you feel when you achieved it? Reminding them about those things. And it's interesting because even as a career coach, I tell people to remember those great moments, even the most challenging moments, because those outcomes are still life lessons that will take you through. And those are all your transferable skills because people forget all the great things that they've done. And because you did it, and that's a similar thing, you're going through that again, kind of. Because you did it before, you're going to do it again and even better, and you're going to get through it again. So always remember. Also, amplify your strengths. Focus on what you do well to build confidence and resilience. Do you even know what you do well? I always say, you need to do a SWOT analysis at least once a year just to kind of see how you've grown, what's going on in your environment, especially with your business. I hope if you have a business that you have a marketing communications plan that includes a SWOT analysis so that you can see how your business is aligning with your competition, if there is any. Even if there's not competition, you just want to see how your business is aligning with the market of today. Do you need to pivot? Do you need to add more technology? Do you need to change your service, your offerings, your pricing? What do you need to do because of the changes that are going on in your community, in your industry? But you also have to do that for yourself. How do you need to pivot for yourself as a woman, as a man in this world, as a professional, as a friend, as a parent, as a child. We all, if you we are all blessed to still have our parents. I still have my dad, and as he gets older, I still have to evolve. I have to make different types of accommodations. In the sandwich generation, what? Listen, if you are in the sandwich generation, you have to accommodate, pivot, and do so much all the time. And so, doing that evaluation once a year, that assessment of who you are, will help you to regain that strength, that inner strength that you need. And then you want to develop, and I know you hear this a lot, a growth mindset. Embrace challenges as opportunities for improvements. Don't be scared. What are you scared for? No, know that, wow, listen, once I get through this, it's going to be amazing. And listen, it only might be amazing for a moment, because then you're going to get into another challenge. Listen, challenges will always be as long as we are. So never think it's going to be one and done. It's going to be something else. It just is, because that's how you grow. If you don't have challenges, you're not growing. Challenges help you think about things again, think about them differently. It helps you be more innovative and creative and really pull from deep within. Sometimes, you might just be surface with it. When you're surface with it, and you can see this all around you when you're in meetings, when you are working on a project or an event or something like that, and you see all the players that are involved with that particular thing, you could tell the ones that are just surface. They're the ones that's just sitting back and waiting to be told. They're not really contributing. They're not taking initiative. They're not really giving any great ideas. So don't be like that. When you are being your best self, when you know who your best self is, when you are the best version of yourself, you will be that contributor. Because things will just start to flow for you when you are at your best self and you know who that is. And when you are that best version, it opens up floodgates. You will find that ideas that you don't even know where it came from. I always call it serendipity. Like, this is wild, this is strange, this just came to me. I don't know where it came from. I was just minding my own business. That's what I always say. You know me, I mind my own business, and things just start to come to you, and it makes sense. It all makes sense. It all belongs. And so tap into yourself, and you really will start to see those floodgates open. All right. So that's having that growth mindset, never being scared, and just always trusting that process. Practice being authentic. Authenticity, what? Oh my goodness. Stay true to your values and pursue what genuinely brings you joy and fulfillment. Do you know what brings you joy? Just laughing and having a good time doesn't mean joy. What truly brings you joy? What makes you smile on the inside? We can all have a smile on the outside, but what makes you truly smile on the inside? What's that thing that even when you're by yourself, you're like, yeah. When you just like that inside joke for yourself. What is that? So definitely keep all those things in mind. I guess I'm gonna have to change the title of this live, right? And or at least add to it and just talk about, being the best version of yourself. I hope some of those strategies and tips that I shared are going to be helpful for you. And again, this is what I always say too. This information, don't just keep it to yourself. Share it with your family, with your friends. When you are on or at that fireside chat with your loved ones, to have this conversation. When you're breaking bread with your loved ones, your friends, your colleagues, have this conversation. You can't be the best one in your group. Let them know, listen, this is something I heard, and let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. I want everyone to come out as a winner. I want everyone to come out better, because we all are needed. It's all hands on deck. It's not about one, it's about all. So definitely. All right. Nancy is saying this is such a great reflection. I love the points you have made. Thank you. I appreciate that. And that's another reason why I love YouTube, because even if you missed part of this or you weren't here in the live, you're here on the replay, it's going to be here, unless I take the video down, or if YouTube does. I don't want them to. But yeah, that's the beauty of it. This is part of my legacy work, where I'm sharing things that I'm hopeful will help my future's future, and I wish I had things like this that I can look back on from my ancestors too. But YouTube is a place to start for my own. All right, everyone. Well, that's all I have for you today. Thank you for chatting it up with me for this Fireside Friday Night Chat. I hope you all have a wonderful and safe weekend. I'll definitely see you tomorrow because I'm kind of, doing my thing every day, be it a live, pre-recorded video, or a short. Also, check out my community wall. I have some pretty cool quotes, things that I happen upon in serendipity, and that I love to share here as well. So take care and remember to practice. Even though it's the weekend, listen, you never know who you may encounter. And when they see you practicing being at your best, you never know what opportunities will come from that. All right, everyone, until we speak again, stay safe. I am Coach Sherry.